Put down your cinnamon sugar toast, put down your egg sandwiches and your ramen noodles, all your struggle meals that you had to buy because you spent too much money on magic cards, and watch this video of me talking about some really powerful casual commander cards that you can get for 25 cents or under. That's right, flick a quarter, jukebox style at your local card shop vendor. Ping! Give me one of these, boss. All for like a quarter or under. So if you've been looking for some powerful casual cards to play, but you're running low on the Skrilla, let me help you out with a couple of dillas. If you could help me out by liking, commenting, and subscribing, we're trying to hit 20K by the end of the year. And if you want to throw me a buck over on Patreon or YouTube members, helps me out a ton. Anyway, let's get this train moving. Up first, we've got Curse of Swine, being X and 2 blue for a 22-cent sorcery. This sorcery exiles X target creatures. For each creature exiled this way, its controller creates a 2/2 green boar creature token. Not a ton to say here. 22 cents for a very good piece of targeted removal, mass removal, exile, so it gets around indestructible. Those creatures are not coming back. In blue, all of this to say 22 cents is incredibly cheap for this card. Pick one up. I'm not going to say that anymore throughout this video because it's redundant. For all the cards we're going to talk about today, 25 cents or under, pick one up. Young Pyromancer is 14 cents right now, being 1 in a red for a 2/1. Whenever you cast an instant or a sorcery card, you get a 1/1 red elemental creature token. This is going to be great in Spellslinger decks like Stella Lee Wildcard, being 1 a red and a blue for a 2/4. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card, and tap it. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Activate only if you've cast 3 or more spells this turn. With Young Pyromancer, that's going to be a lot of spell slinging, or just throw it in something like a Nello the Painter, being a blue, a black, and a red 1/3 death touch. Instants and sorcery spells you cast have casualty 2. Either one of these commanders is going to be casting a ton of instants and sorceries, and if you want to run a token sub-theme, Young Pyromancer is the card for you. But maybe you want to run an enchantment deck. Well, how about Doomwake Giant for 22 cents? This 4 and a black 4/6 has Constellation. Whenever Doomwake Giant or another enchantment you control enters the battlefield, each creature your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn. That's right, every time you play an enchantment, your entire opponent's boards get -1/-1. So if you're in an enchantment deck like Anixia, Hand of Erebos, being 2, a white, a black, and a green for a 4/4 Menace, other enchantment creatures you control have Menace. Whenever Anixia enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to 1 target non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 3/3 black zombie in addition to its other types. Yeah, play enchantments, have enchantments die, have those enchantments come back, all the while they're entering, causing Doomwake Giant to be pretty much one-way board wiping your opponent's boards. Same idea with Amanatu Veil Piercer, gives all your enchantments miracle off top. So yeah, just cast a bunch of enchantments and wipe your opponent's boards. Seems like a good trade to me. Moving on to Fathom Mage for 22 cents again. This 2, a green and a blue 1/1 has Evolve, meaning whenever you play a creature with higher power or toughness, put a 1/1 counter on Fathom Mage. Whenever a 1/1 counter is put on Fathom Mage, you may draw a card. So yeah, if you're in like a 1/1 counter deck, like you're gonna just be putting 1/1 counters onto stuff anyway, this seems really, really good. But also if you're just like in a Timmy Stompy deck where you're just playing big stuff, like if you're an Eshki Timir's Roar, being a green, a blue, and a red for a 2/2, whenever you cast a creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Eshki. If that spell's power is 4 or greater, draw a card. If that spell's power is 6 or greater, Eshki deals damage equal to Eshki's power to each opponent. So yeah, you're just gonna be playing giant creatures in that deck anyway, so all the while, you'll be making Fathom Mage evolve, draw you a bunch of cards. If you're a Timmy player, Fathom Mage seems like a good card for you. But so does Hornet Queen for 24 cents, being 4 and 3 green for a 2/2. Flying Death Touch. When Hornet Queen enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 green insect creature tokens with Flying and Death Touch. Yeah, this is an old school classic, dude. I hate looking at it because it reminds me of... Oh, look at that stinger. Look at that stinger, dude. I've only gotten stung by a bee twice, and both times were me stepping on a dead bee. I'm not even kidding you. But I guess that's actually better. I feel like that's like me being like, I'm unlucky. But then when I think about it, I'm like, well, you're not getting targeted by live bees, dude. Maybe I am lucky. Anyway, I think this is really good in a blink deck like Rune of the Hidden Realm, where you're going to be blinking your own creatures over and over again. Or something like Yurok the Desecrator, being 2 black, green, blue, 3/5, Death Touch, Lifelink, double all your ETBs. Yeah, go ahead and get 8 1/1 green Wasp with Death Touch. That's probably fine. The release of the new Spider-Man set actually gave us a reprint of Corpsejack Menace, which brought the price down to 24 cents. being a 2, a black, and a green 4/4. If one or more 1/1 counters would be put on a creature you control, put twice that many 1/1 counters instead. Yeah, if you're running something like the Wise Mothman, 1 black, green, blue, 3/3 flying. When it enters or attacks, put a rad counter on each player. Whenever one or more non-land cards are milled, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number of non-land cards milled this way. Yeah, I'm sure doubling those 1/1s isn't going to be overpowered at all, especially for 24 cents. Moving on to Angel of Ruins for 16 cents, this 5 and 2 white 5/7 with flying has, when this creature enters, exile up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments, and it has plane cycling for 2. This thing's not ran a lot because it is a 7-drop, but if you run it in a Reanimator deck like Sephris of the Hidden Ways, being a white, a blue, and a black for a 2/3, whenever one or more creature cards are put into the graveyard from anywhere, venture into the dungeon. This ability triggers only once each turn, and also, whenever you complete a dungeon, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, so you can go ahead and just plane cycling that Angel of Ruins, get through a dungeon, and then reanimate it for free, being a 5/7 that blows 2 things up. Sure. Anyway, Steel Hellkite, coming in for 18 cents, being 6 colorless for a 5/5 flying. Pay 2, give it +1/+0 until end of turn, or pay X, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X, whose controller was dealt damage by this creature this turn, activate only once a turn. So, smack somebody, pay 3, blow up all their 3-drops. It's pretty good. I actually showed this card in my John Arenicus deck, which was a $10 budget list. If you want to watch my Introduce Your Friends to Magic for $10 video that I just uploaded, you can check it out in the top right corner. But John Arenicus is 2, a blue, and a black, and his whole deal is he gives our creatures to opponents and goads them for the rest of the game. So if you can give a Steel Hellkite to one of our opponents, that's probably going to cause a lot of damage to happen to our opponents. So yeah, we like that. Similarly to Hornet Queen, Myr Battlesphere is 23 cents, being a 7-drop 4/7 that enters and makes 4 1/1 colorless mirrors, but when it attacks, you may tap X target untapped mirrors you control to deal X damage and give Myr Battlesphere +X/+0 until end of turn. I still think this card's a bomb threat. Like, honestly, I had this played against me, like, not super recently, but like somewhat recently, and it's still a card where I'm like, oh yeah, I just straight up take that mirror damage, and I've got an 8/8 coming at me right now. Okay, that's pretty good. Oh, and you're blinking it. That's pretty good. You know what I mean? Blinking's really where this is going to shine. Again, throw it in like your Rune of the Hidden Realms deck and just start blinking your Myr Battlesphere to net a ton of mirrors. Then next time you swing with it, you can tap all those mirrors and one-shot somebody. It seems pretty good. Up next, we've got Tireless Tracker for 24 cents, being a 2 and a green 3/2 with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, investigate, which means create a clue token. And whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Now, this is obviously going to be great in a lands matter deck like the Necrobloom, being a 1, a white, a black, and a green for a 2/7. Landfall, whenever a land enters, we get a 0/1. If we've got 6 or more lands if we control 7 different lands, we get a 2/2 black zombie instead. And lands in our graveyard have dredge too. These are the type of decks where we're going to be playing multiple lands. We're going to be hitting guaranteed land drops on each of our turns. So utilizing a card like Tireless Tracker to get clue tokens, that's going to be good. Similarly, Rampaging Baloths is coming in for 20 cents nowadays, being 4 and 2 green for a 6/6 trample. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, make a 4/4 green beast token. Exact same idea. This is going to go in the same exact type of decks, Necrobloom included. You're going to be playing a bunch of lands. You're going to be netting 4/4 green beast out of the equation. I love this card. I actually don't mind this card in like a casual Reanimator deck as one of your Reanimator pieces, because again, getting a 6/6 out way earlier than it should be that then just starts making you 4/4s for land drops is really, really good. Not to even mention if you're running my Necrobloom Reanimator deck, which is a landfall and Reanimator deck. Again, you can check that out up here. Makes this card even more gross. And man, we're really going down memory lane here with some of my favorite cards of all time, because we've got Sun Titan for 22 cents. This 4 and 2 white creature is a 6/6 with vigilance. When this creature enters or attacks, you may return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I'm going to be straight with you. This goes in a lot of decks. I love Sun Titan. I put it in my Kelsien deck because Kelsien's a 3-drop, and I just like getting back Kelsien with Sun Titan if someone manages to deal with him, and a ton of my Pillow Fort cards in that deck cost 3 or less, so if someone handles those, I can get them back with Sun Titan. Makes the whole deck extra annoying. I like Sun Titan in my Reanimator decks to help me get back some of my like Priest of the Fellright style small creatures that reanimate. I like Sun Titan again in Land Matters decks like the Necrobloom because you can get back lands with Sun Titan. So something as simple as cracking an Evolving Wilds, playing Sun Titan, getting back Evolving Wilds, cracking Evolving Wilds, throwing like boots on Sun Titan, swinging with Sun Titan, getting back Evolving Wilds. in a casual format, like if you're playing casual commander, that's pretty strong, honestly. Mosswart Bridge is a land for 17 cents that has Hideaway 4, meaning when it enters the battlefield, you look at your top 4 cards, and you may put one of them face down, exiled underneath Mosswart Bridge, and the rest on the bottom in a random order. It enters tapped, it taps for a green, but you can also pay 1 green and tap it, and play the card you exiled for free if your board has total power 10 or greater. My steak's too tender, my lobster's too buttery looking ass card, dude. It's so good. It's just like play something for free for just dropping a land and having enough stuff in play. 10, not that big, honestly. Maybe back in the day this was like, well, that's a good little field. Not hard at all to do, honestly. You make a couple tokens and play your commander in most decks, and it's like, oh, whoa, I have 10 power on board. Now I get to play this thing for free. Not to mention, if you're in the Timmy deck, if you're just trying to play big, scary stuff, like scary stuff. If you're just trying to do that the entire game, play this. Play this, turn 1, tapped. Oh, I hit an End-Raise Forerunner that can give my whole board a 2/2 buff and Trample and Vigilance. I'll save that under this land for later when my board's big enough. Oh, my board's at 10 power? I'll play the End-Raise for free. It's a very, very good land. I like this land a lot. Sure, you can draw into it late game and you're like a tapped land that just I don't need right now. That's like 90% of lands you draw into late game. Let's be honest. Your game's going long enough, you're drawing any land. You're going, blah, blah. Don't point at Mosswart Bridge as your problems, all right? Marshal's Anthem is going to make me sound like a broken record. This 12-cent enchantment costs 2 and 2 white. It gives all your creatures +1/+1, but it's got multi-kicker for 1 and a white. And when it enters, you get to return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield for each time it was kicked. Yeah, if you're in the Reanimator deck that also has token sub-themes like my Necrobloom list, you can go check that out up there. Yeah, Necrobloom is Reanimator landfall with token sub-themes. I think Marshal's Anthem is going to be pretty decent in that deck. Again, if you're playing casual, your games are going long, this isn't bad. Like, in a bubble, it's a 6-drop reanimation spell, which is way too much. Outside of that bubble, though, you're going to be playing Magic for long games sometimes, and when you draw into this card late game, you can be like, oh, I can multi-kicker this for 4 right now. Oh, and all the stuff I just reanimated make tokens, and it's an Anthem, so it's going to make those tokens bigger. I love this card. I think it's very, very good. For under a quarter, you know what, damn it, I will say it one more time. For under a quarter, might as well pick up all of these, including Scroll of Fate for 24 cents, being a 3-drop artifact, tap it, manifest a card from your hand. Meaning you put it into play face down as a 2/2. If it's a creature, you can pay its mana cost, flip it back over. I'm just a dummy, I guess, sometimes. I didn't realize this worked with Blink until I went to my card shop and heard some guy talking about it. Yeah, if you're running Blink, like if you're, again, in the Rune of the Hidden Realm deck, this is insane because you can manifest a card out of your hand, like Avenger of Zendikar, let's say. I'm going to tap my scroll to manifest Avenger of Zendikar. Then I'm going to Cloud Shift my manifested card and blink it for 1 white, and it re-enters as an Avenger of Zendikar. So, I mean, a 1-mana Avenger Zendikar, that's not bad. Moving on, we got Unburial Rites for 15 cents, being a 4 and a black sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, flashback for 3 and a white. 15 cents for this card is insane. This is such a good card. We talked about this ding in my Necrobloom reanimation video. Again, you can click that up there. Having cards that can be milled into your graveyard but still used from your graveyard in a reanimator deck is very important, and Unburial Rites is one of the best pieces at doing that. Unburial Rites and Dread Return are probably the best 2 at doing that. So picking one of these up for under 25 cents to put in your Reanimator deck, if you're in a Reanimator deck that runs black-white, like the Necrobloom, this is an incredibly powerful card. Take it from me, your resident Reanimator player, Unburial Rites, that gets a thumbs up from me. It's a great card. Moving on to an interesting one, we've got Florian Valderan Scion for 25 cents, being a 1 a black and a red for a 3/3, first strike. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the amount of life your opponents lost this turn. Exile one of those cards, put the rest on the bottom. You may play the exiled card this turn. Yeah, is it me or is this kind of good? Like if you're in like a Xantcha deck, that seems pretty good. You give Xantcha to somebody so everybody can start dumping mana into Xantcha to draw cards and ping the person who owns Xantcha. Like if your deck's running Impact Tremors or like group slug effects, again, like Xantcha, that's going to be consistently damaging players. Florian seems like some good card draw, actually. He's also a vamp, so you could like throw him in your Olivia Valderan deck, I guess. Oh, and he's a Valderan. There you go. I guess Ovika's only 15 cents, which is kind of crazy to me. Like, just a cool-ass commander, being like 5 blue-red, 6/6, flying, ward 3, pay 3 life. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create X/1/1 Phyrexian goblins, where X is the mana value of that spell. They gain haste. I didn't even know they gain haste. That's actually 15 cents. You got a cool commander right here. I mean, 7 mana's a bit steep, but playing casual, it's whatever. She's also a Phyrexian Nightmare. Come on. This card's sick. 7 is steep, though. 7's steep if you're in casual. I feel fine with it. Moving on, we got Hornet Nest for 19 cents, being 2 and a green for a 0/2 defender. When this creature is dealt damage, create that many 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch. Moving on to Thalisse Revenant Medium, being 14 cents. This 3, a white and a black 3/4 has, at the beginning of each end step, create X/1/1 white spirit creature tokens, where X is the number of tokens you created this turn. I mean, put this in your Myr Calgar deck, dude. Like, Myr cares about tokens. He's 2, a white, a blue, a black, 3/5 double strike. Whenever 1 or more tokens are made under your control, draw a card. And you can pay 6 to create 2/2/2 white vigilance tokens. So with Thalisse, it's not like unforeseeable for you to like use something like an Ashnod's Altar in this deck, sack 3 creatures during an opponent's turn to create 2/2/2 Astaris. Thalisse will also trigger, make you 2 spirits, and then you sack the 2 spirits plus 1 of the Astaris to add 6, do the Myr Calgar during another person's turn, and not only are you netting 1 of your Astaris each turn, you're also getting a ton of death triggers in a deck like Myr Calgar. So Thalisse, absolute bomb card. I don't know why this isn't in my Arna Kennerud Sky Captain token deck, but it is going to be, because damn, this thing makes tokens. And finally, if you are in a Spellslinger deck that cares about tokens, Balmor Battle Mage Captain for 19 cents is a card you definitely need to pick up. Being a blue and a red 1/3 flying, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain trample until end of turn. Put this in like a deck like Eris. Eris Roar of the Storm, 8, a blue and a red. It costs 2 less for each different mana value among instants and sorceries in your graveyard. Not hard at all to get this thing to cost 2 mana. 4/4 flying prowess. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, create a 4/4 red dragon elemental with flying and prowess. So yeah, while you're slinging spells, go ahead and make 4/4 red dragons and also give them +1/+0 and trample for each instant and sorcery you're playing with Balmor. That seems completely fine to me. There's even an argument to be made if you're in a token deck that just happens to have Izzet colors in it and you run enough instants and sorceries in that deck, this could just be a good card. Like if you're in Brutaclad Telkor Engineer, which is literally an Izzet token deck, but you just happen to run but a bunch of your token creation tends to be instants and sorceries, Balmor could be insane in a deck like that as well. All this is to say, just because you're casual and just because you're on a tight budget doesn't mean you can't get some sick, powerful cards in those decks, alright? So, go pick up any of these cards for a quarter, dude, and see if they can upgrade any of your casual decks to be a little bit more powerful on a budget. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to show me a little additional support, you can head over to the nixlotus.com website where you can use our Lotus Refinery Scryfall search optimization tool, or check out the merch to order the Teneb the Harvester crewneck sweatshirt. And if you want to show some additional support, you can head over to the YouTube members page or the Patreon members page and throw me $1 a month because it helps me out a ton, and it also gets you the deck submission form so you can submit your decks for Friday night deck reviews. So a little incentive there. Huge shout out to all the people you can see on screen right now, and click on one of the 2 videos you can see on screen because YouTube thinks you might like them. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.